or how they feel. But the reason why I decided to just cut my tubes is because, to be honest, I'm for the most part 0.1% sure that I don't want to have children. However, we all change our minds sometimes on certain things. I don't think I will, but I'm somebody that is always open to growing and adaptation. So for me, if that's something that I do change my mind on, then I would like that option as well eventually. And then two, taking out my uterus and not having periods, I feel like I'm already so different from my peers that I've cut my tubes, and that's something that I've not had any of my friends do or anyone that I know in my age group do. So already you feel like a little bit of different, though it doesn't affect me at all. Like I don't care. But if I'm now not experiencing periods as well, starting from the ripe age of 24, I feel like it would have made me feel so drastically different from my peers. And that's not something that I want to experience. So I thought, at the end of the day, a period is not that deep, it's not that serious. And then three, I kind of had this fear that it might mess up some sort of ecosystem down there. What if it shoots me into menopause, pre-menopause, as a 24-year-old? And that's not what the doctor said. She said that since I would have my ovaries intact, that's not the case. But you just never know what could happen with the female body. So I wanted to go for something that's cute, clean. There's not too much drama, at the end of the day, the lining still sheds. At the end of the day, I still get to have what I'm supposed to be having. So that is why I decided to go for that option. Now, did I talk about the periods? Yes. So you still have your period. I got my period actually at the end of December, shortly after my surgery. You don't feel anything. To be honest, like, tubal ligation is a 15-minute procedure. For me, I had it when I was under because I was already having surgery. But I was watching this girl's video. She's from Nairobi, and Mary Stopes was doing free tubal ligation. And she said they did one while they're awake. Like, all they do is numb where they're going to cut you. And then when they go inside, as they're snipping your tubes or tying them, whatever it is that you've opted for as a person, you feel that, but it's discomfort. It's not necessarily like so excruciating, but it's discomfort. So they do it to people when they're awake. I just couldn't do that though. So for me personally, that's the route that I took. But it's a 15-minute procedure. I don't even think it took them like long to do shortly after extracting the fibroids out of me. So I wouldn't say that there was a real healing process from it. Again, I felt nothing. However, the girls did talk about there's like a shoulder pain that you feel right after surgery when you've had tubal ligation on its own, right? And it's usually because they pump your stomach full of gas because they're going to numb you in that area. Now, for me, they didn't pump my stomach full of gas because, again, I was already sleeping. However, I did have like shoulder pain on the second day of my healing process. I had very, very bad shoulder pain. I think that's the only thing that made me cry. Nothing else made me cry, but that made me cry. It was very, very painful. It lasted, I think, for 2 days, and then I took like a really painful painkiller, and then that was that. But that's all that I would say maybe might be related to the tube cutting, but there's no like healing. It's inside, it's severed, it's done. For me, in my experience. How much is it? So because they were already going inside of me, they were not going to charge me full price. So for me, I just topped up, I think, 300,000.